Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the semifinals of the Battle of Ruin. Many hybrids were sent to fight, but only 3 teams have made it this far. Now we will see who will be in the finale, starting with the Tsunami versus Team Hurricane. And whoever wins for that will get a guaranteed spot in the finale, and the other one has to fight the other team, so let's dive in. Match 1 is Heroic Hurricane versus the Tearing Tsunami in the Swamp Biome. Let's begin. Both teams are on opposite side of the map, both starting on the land, with the water being over the right side. And it starts with Godzilla spotting the other team and signaling his team to go in for a charge, as well as Gorosaurus spotting on the other side and getting his team ready to go as well. This biome is a lot more dense, with foliage, with trees blocking a lot of the way, so it's going to be difficult for the larger opponents to move around. So Godzilla's got to keep back a bit, while Anguirus and the others go through the forest to attack the other team. Gorosaurus has to stay back for a bit till he finds a clearing, as well as Jason, but the other two are able to sneak into the trees. The group of Kongs start wailing on the 2 Anguiruses, though the Anguiruses are over double the weight and are able to push down the Kongs, but they're still getting bumbled in the face. But their durability is shrugging off most of the impact. Delilah's also jump down to try and distract the Kongs to give Anguirus a better chance. As well as in the trees, the Rajangs taking advantage of the Talons and them fighting early on so they can have an easier chance later down the line. Godzilla decides he's had enough of waiting and just starts barging in through the trees, knocking him down to clear himself away. Gorosaurus during this was able to find a way around with him and Jason, and they start making their way around while Godzilla charges through the middle. The Kongs are able to hold off Anguirus for a while, though they have lost 2, and they're only down to 2 now. And Rajangs drop from the sky as well as his Talons, as both are pretty equal in durability, with Talon being a little better, but those large fangs from Rajangs do a lot of damage. Godzilla pulls up and is able to kill the last 2 Kongs, as him and Anguirus are pretty much in good health, except Anguirus is a bit beat up. But the Lilas didn't lose anybody yet. But unfortunately for them, during this, only 1 Talon is left from the 5, as the Rajangs were able to work in a group and kill them off. The Lilas crawl up the trees to go help, while Rajang attacks the last Talon, taking it down. Anguirus and Godzilla now kind of just stand there because they can't do much at the minute. When during this, one of the Anguirus is stabbed from both sides from the Jasons with their tusks and flipped over. Godzilla and Anguirus turn around to fight the 2 Jasons, but Godzilla is immediately pushed down by Gorosaurus. Godzilla decides to play strategically for once and starts waddling over to the water to get a better chance at winning. Now Anguirus has to deal with 2 Jasons on his own, though he is able to bring down one well down to their knees, not fully dead, but he is still getting really overwhelmed. In the trees, it is now a 2v2 as most of the Rajangs have died along with the Lilas. Gorosaurus follows after Godzilla, but decides it's not worth the wait and goes straight for Anguirus to finish him. The 2 Jasons decide they will go for Godzilla now instead, and Gorosaurus proceeds to kick and curb stomp Anguirus. Anguirus, though, is not going down without a fight, and uses his club tail to slash at Gorosaurus' face, missing, but he did try. Gorosaurus leaves Anguirus to die to his wounds. Jason's duo start attacking Godzilla from the side, as he's kind of just crawling around on the floor, getting to the water, though his tail is used as a weapon and knocks him back to give him some distance, right before he finally reaches the water. He then grabs one of the Jasons with his arms and his neck, and uses his powerful tail to balance himself and throws him into the water. But right before he jumps in after him, the other Jason's able to use his tusks to impale into Godzilla's leg, causing serious damage. Godzilla screams out in pain and is able to get a hold of one of the tusks, and with all his power is able to snap it right off Jason's face. He throws it to the side, but is then knocked right in the head by Gorosaurus with a headbutt into the water. Now this land is unique, we'll say, as it is a swamp for a reason. Jason wasn't too careful with his footing to want to land with the missing tusk, and ends up falling through the floor, as this is a floating island, and he kinda didn't pay attention to his footing and went down under. Godzilla, taking advantage of this, is able to grab Jason by his leg and ragdoll him around under the water, while the other one is able to climb out of the water. He is nothing. Gorosaurus waits till he can actually have a chance, but Godzilla doesn't come out from under the island. The two Lilas are able to finish off the lodgings and come down to start to distract Gorosaurus, trying to buy Godzilla some time, as it does work. The first Jason is brought down by Godzilla as he floats up through the island, while the other Jason is in shock. Godzilla launches out of the water and latches onto Jason and pulls him in. This Jason is able to get a few slashes on Godzilla with his tusks as well as his horns, but it is not enough to deter Godzilla. Though it is enough for Jason to break free. As he reaches for the surface, he is met with an unexpected face. Anguirus slams his head full force into Jason, which is able to knock him out and send him under the water. Anguirus lets out a bellow in victory, though that is quickly short-lived as Gorosaurus quickly bites down on the frill and decapitates Anguirus. One of the Lilas is stabbed with the tail, and the other is thrown across the water. It is now a solo 1v1 between Godzilla and Gorosaurus. Godzilla knows that if he goes on land, he is not going to win, plus the fact that his leg is stabbed and it will really screw up his balance, so he decides to camp the water and swims onto the island looking for a thin spot of water where he can lunge up. He ends up finding one, and as he swims for the surface, Gorosaurus jumps onto the floating part of that island and goes right through the water and lands straight on Godzilla. From this impact alone, Godzilla is knocked out, and as he sinks down to the water, Gorosaurus grabs him with his bite, uses one last crunch, and is able to snap Godzilla's neck once and for all. Gorosaurus swims to the top and lets out a snort, as he's pretty exhausted now from all the fighting, though there is still one opponent as the other Lila desperately swims to the shore and climbs onto the land. Lila knows she can't win, though she tries anyways to honor her team. She jumps onto Gorosaurus, claws at his face a bit, but she is ultimately grabbed and slammed down. Team Hurricane has done it. They have secured a spot in the finale. And yeah, Heroic Hurricane takes the first spot in the finale. Now, why did they win? Well, overall, their teamwork was much better than the other team, which came in clutch as the smaller two were able to work together and scale up one side to handle and distract, while the other two were able to go around to get better room for them to move around. Now, the other team per se is not weak at all. In fact, if this was on the previous biome, then Team Terran Tsunami would have won, just due to the limited range of area, along with the strategicness of the land, with it being pretty, sinkable. Godzilla was able to exploit a lot of it, showing a lot of intelligence during this, though Gorosaurus was able to outsmart him and in the end give his team victory. Final round, the Cryptic Cyclone versus the Terran Tsunami. Let's dive in. Again, Godzilla is the first to spot the other team, and signals his team to go in for the kill, as he stands back and lets the others go in because he's too big to fit. And on the other side, Queen is able to spot the other team, while Mosey's creep in, as well as the two Gorgon opposite teams. Though Queen and Godzilla aren't the most patient of hybrids, and they both decide that it's better late than never, and they both start charging through the trees, knocking them over. Eventually, Lilas are the first to make it to the other team, and they are jumped by the two sets of Gorgon opposite hybrids, as it is a 4-on-8, and both Gorgon opposites are bigger than Lila, so it is not a fair fight. Anguirus pulls up and starts swatting at the Gorgon opposites, though he is jumped immediately by the Moseys, though he also has a partner, so they are able to hold him off for a bit. And then Godzilla finally reaches the squad along with Queen, and they charge at each other. Though Godzilla specialized all mainly in front heavy muscle and tail, Queen is kind of just better stability, as she has 4 limbs on the ground. So she is able to have a better footing and is able to push Godzilla a bit around, along with being a bit heavier. Though Godzilla is not going down without a fight, and bites onto Queen's neck and starts to ragdoll her around, trying to tear chunks, which he tears some, though the armor of Queen is really good and is able to reduce some of the impact. By this time, a few of the Innocerantivia hybrids are taken out by Talons, ambushing them from above, though one of the Talons is ultimately killed by one of the Innocerantvias. Particularly, it was actually Odogaron who got one. Anguirus is able to hold off the Mosies for a bit, though they have a 3-on-2. Even though they're lighter, that actually is a good thing for them, as they are able to capitalize off of agility and continue just slashing and biting at Anguirus' legs. They are able to take one of them down, though the other is able to kill a Mosie with a club tail straight to the face. Queen and Godzilla reach the water, where both have a pretty equal range, though Godzilla has a better range. And due to Queen being so heavy, she actually sinks into the water halfway as she falls to the land. And Godzilla is able to capitalize off this, so he immediately jumps in the water, swims under, and before Queen is able to get better footing, he pulls her under. The Gorgonopsids are then destined to go fight Anguirus, as they take out the one who was crippled. And now it is, sadly for them, a 6 plus 2 Mosies on 1. So it's an 8-on-1, which is not good for Anguirus. Though the Talons do come down, are able to distract some of the Gorgonopsids and get them off the trail for a bit. Anguirus decides his best chance is to make a run for it, which he does, but he is the slowest in the group, and the opponents are faster. So they're able to catch up, though his durability is able to keep them off him. Anguirus uses his body to slam into a few of the Innocerantvias, taking out 2 of them, while the 2 Mosies are able to keep creating chip damage, which is enough to get him injured and greatly injured. Anguirus tries to defend for herself, though it's not enough. The Talons try their best to distract, though there's only so much they can do, and as Anguirus keeps getting cut, Mosie goes in for one last headrun, but she is stopped by something. She is lifted into the air and then slammed onto the ground by Godzilla. During this time, he was able to take down Queen by drowning her, and has returned to help Anguirus. Mosie and the other Innocerantvias charge for him, and they're able to get some very good damage off, though he kind of squishes the Innocerantvias like bugs, and has the last Mosie goes in for another ram. She is stopped by Anguirus, who's able to do the finishing blow. The other Mosie, who was slammed on the ground, decides to make a run for it, though it is ambushed by the Talons, who are able to not only blind her, but trip her up and make her fall. Godzilla is able to go for one last head slam until Mosie's dead. As they let out a roaring victory, they are quickly stopped as Godzilla is thrown to the side, bleeding out, and Queen roars right at his face. Something Godzilla didn't account for is the fact that Queen is able to close her nostrils off and hold her breath, which is what he thought drowning was. So Queen was able to come back and fight. Anguirus, who's extremely injured, is picked up by Queen in his jaws, and she is able to pierce straight through him, killing him. The Talons try their best to do damage, but Queen's armor is way too durable, and Godzilla tries to get up. He gets up and slams into Queen, and they tussle for a bit, though Queen is able to use her jaws again and sharp, pointy teeth to pierce through Godzilla and ultimately take him down. Talons are the last hope, but they can only do so much until they're all killed off. So there you have it. Cryptic Cyclone was able to pull the win off in this case. But why? Well, you see, Queen carried the team heavy in this case, but the combined forces of the two Innocerantvias were able to take off Lila very fast, and able to do pretty lethal damage to Anguirus, which is one of the team's strongest, along with Moses being very versatile and able to take down Anguirus as well and do damage to Godzilla. Now the other team again is not weak, and they could have won, though there is certain circumstances and Cyclone would win more often. They could easily have a chance through Anguirus, able to kill off the Moses fast and Godzilla, but Queen was able to get there fast, and if Queen is the last one on the field, she will likely win the fight for the team and take down the other two. So the final two for the Hybrid War Battle of Ruin have been decided. Cryptic Cyclone versus the Hazardous Hurricane. Now, it's going to be an interesting finale, as both of these fights in this episode took place in the swamp. The final two will be decided in 2 fights to get the better outcome. The Crystal one, as that's a very weird one, it could go either way, and the Tar Pit first as the warm-up. So we will see who wins out of those two. This was the most likely outcome, and yeah, hope you all have a good night and enjoy this.
Noche caliente, siente el ritmo ya.